So, how many of you guys seen my Crack is Whack story time? So I'm sitting here today and I'm just like trying to think of content that I can upload because I feel like I've told you guys all my stories, right? And so I'm going through my mind, and then it hits me like a ton of bricks. You gotta tell them about the crack rock story. You know, you gotta tell them about when you and Tara and Joe and Neil all went into town to get crack. We all had our own individual bags of crack rocks in our pocket, okay? And we got pulled over. So y'all come on in, share the video. We're gonna do an old school story time. Y'all come on with it. If you get triggered easily, you don't want to hang out with us today because we're going to be talking about drug addiction and we're going to be talking about drugs. So if you get triggered easy, come back on another day. I'm just warning y'all, okay? I'm warning y'all. I don't know why I'm putting makeup on at 5 o'clock, but it's kind of like makes me kind of, I focus and do this while I tell y'all the story. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, let me think. Okay, so I met my husband in 2012. I was living with my friend Kaylee. I was sleeping on her couch. And for those of you guys that don't know, my husband you would never know he had a drug problem. Never in a million years, okay? When I tell you my husband looks like he went to school at E equals MC squared, okay? Like, he is just the whitest white boy you've ever met. He's got red hair, freckles, he dresses really nice, and I'm not talking like he dresses nice, like a white person nice, not like baggy clothes, you know, like he dresses nice. He doesn't dress hood or anything like that. Like, he has style about him. And so when I met him, it was like, when I met my husband, you guys, it was like Beauty and the Beast. Him being Beauty and me being the Beast. Because when I tell you guys, we did not go together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was homeless and had nowhere to live, and he was like actually making something of his life. He might have had a drug problem, but he was like, he was smart. He had a degree. He went to college. He got his master's degree. Like, he did things totally different than what I did them. He actually listened to his parents when he was a kid. So anyway, let me get to the point. So anyway, I meet him and he immediately, we fall in love, right? We fall in love and we move out. I get out of that apartment. We stayed there for probably like a month or two, maybe a couple more months than that, maybe 3 or 4 months. I stayed there for a while and he would sleep on the couch with me. Like, when I tell you guys, my husband fell in love with me the moment he laid his eyes on me, honey. I had that magic punani. Hey, Leslie, what's up, girl? I'm telling a story time. He fell in love with me immediately, you guys. Like, he was sprung, for real. And so we would stay at my friend's apartment, Hunter and Kaylee, and we slept on their couch. We pushed their 2 couches together in their living room and would make a bed out of it. And when I tell you guys, we were running and gunning, okay? We were shooting meth, we were doing cocaine, we were eating Xanax bars. We were really just hitting the streets hard. Well, I don't know when I kind of like moved out of there, but eventually, you know, we got out of there and I got my own apartment. Me and Neil, we went through a phase where we lived in like these, what are they called? Where you can stay at extended stay hotels, okay? Extended stay hotels. And there was one extended stay hotel here in Little Rock that's right off of Shackelford Road and Financial Parkway. And we would always stay at this extended stay because most of the people that stayed there did meth. You know what I mean? So we were always there, you know, doing meth at the extended stay. Well, I don't know how Tara got into the mix. Oh, I do know. So we finally got our own apartment and we were staying in this big high rise, okay? This high rise was called the Towers. and it was on University Avenue here in Little Rock, Arkansas, right across the street from the Park Plaza Mall. When I tell you guys, this place, disgusting. You walk into the place, you get in the elevator, and it's like crack smokes just permeating all over you. Like every person in there is on financial help or they are disabled. Every grandma in there has a prescription for oxycodone. Every grandma in there got a prescription for Xanax or Klonopin. Like, I didn't even have to leave my apartment to buy drugs. That's how poppin' this fucking high-rise was. In fact, Z, y'all always hear me talk about him, my drug dealer, lived on the 7th floor for like 2 years. So I didn't even have to leave my apartment building to get high, okay? So when me and Neil moved in there, my friend Tara had dated this guy Joe for like a really long time. Joe was an older black man, probably about in his 50s, okay? In his 50s, and we're all in our 30s, you know? And so Joe lived right across the street from me when I moved into this high rise. He lived across the street with his real wife. So he was married to this lady named Miss Pat. Miss Pat was completely disabled. She was such a sweet little lady, y'all. She had to wear a diaper. She was on dialysis, and he was taking her for everything she had. Taking her for everything she had. I mean, he sucked this poor little old lady dry. It was sad. So anyway, Miss Pat and Joe lived across the hallway, and I'd always go over there because they cooked breakfast every morning. I didn't have no food up in my motherfucking apartment because I was high all the time. When I tell you guys I was so high, like my eyes bugging out of my head, I was so skinny that y'all would never have recognized me. You could tell I was dying inside. And at this point in my life, my hair had started to fall out because I had gotten this like new obsession because when I met Neil, I found out that he had a methadone prescription. So see, when I met my husband, I thought that he was like straight laced and didn't do drugs. Well, then one day I needed a ride to court. It was like the first week we met. And I was like, I need a ride to court or I'm gonna go to jail. And so he comes up to my job and drops his truck off for me to use it. And he says, check the center console. I left something there for you. So I'm driving this big silver brand new Xterra up to the courthouse, you know, tweaked out of my mind. And I open up the center console and there's some methadone tins there. A man after my own heart. So I was like, hell yeah. So I got out of that court, I went and paid my little old fine thing and I left. And I called him and I was like, how do you have these? Like, where did you get these from? And he's like, I have a prescription for 325 of them or some shit like that. Over 300, 325 or 365, a lot, okay? And because he took like 10 or 11 a day. That was his prescription from his doctor. And so he was like, I'm prescribed those. I'm on those, you know, for pain management. And I was thinking, oh, okay, he's just a regular person who takes pills for pain. He's not like me, right? Honey, I was fooling myself. He was just as much a junkie as I was. I remember the first time I took Xanax with his dumb ass, I thought he was gonna die. His lips was turning blue and all kinds of shit. He was, and I was like, oh my God, what is happening? You know, I was like, wait a second. And I would always get so mad at Neil because I'm like, you cannot handle drugs. Like, you are going to die. You're going to overdose. I'm going to have to call 911 and then we're all going to go to jail, you know, because back then I thought that if somebody overdosed, we were going to jail, you know. That's not true though. You won't go to jail. So, slowly but surely we're getting to know each other and we're figuring out that we're both just as strung out as the next one, okay? Like, you know, when you like first start dating somebody, you're like, don't want to show them your true colors. Well, after he like damn near died on Xanax in front of me and after I lost my job because I was so high on Xanax, then we came out to each other, you know. And the way I lost my job was he had stayed the night with me over at Kaylee and Hunter's house one night. And I had been up all night, like probably 3 days on a meth binge. I had been shooting a bunch of meth. And that's one thing that I would do is I would just stay up all night and shoot dope, you know? Well, I had to go to work the next morning. I was skating on thin ice with this job I had been with for like 3 or 4 years. Thanks, Cassie. Just so you guys know, Cassie's going to come on tomorrow night and tell her story. She did 8 years in the penitentiary, y'all, and I think I heard her say she was a diamond heister. So that should be an interesting story time for y'all. But so be here tomorrow night at 7:30. So I had stayed up and I needed to go to my job and act right, okay? I needed to go to my job and act right. I couldn't go to my job with long johns on. I couldn't go to my job another day with long johns on covering my tracks. I couldn't go to my job another day talking to somebody that wasn't there while I was frying fried chicken in the deli. These are all things that happen for real in my life. I could not go to my job another day and like wheel around the milk with my milk and things were like falling off and I'm like slurring my words, right? Whose remains are you talking about? Are you talking about Gabby Petito's remains? So I had to go in and play it cool, right? I had to go in and play it cool. So I thought, what better way to play it cool than to take some Xanaxes to bring me down? Bring me down, okay? I've got to take these to bring me down. Oh God, I figured they were going to. I mean, that dude killed her. I mean, who else would have did it? And now he's missing. Probably went to go kill himself. I had to bring myself down. I was like, man, I cannot be like this. This is like, I have to go in there, you know, straight laced. So I went and I took about 6 Xanax bars, you guys. And this was not a big deal. Like I did this all the time. So I did not think that I wasn't gonna, I don't know, I think it was because of the lack of sleep why I acted so fucked up when I got to work. But I got to work and I started working and then all of a sudden my boss comes over to me and like taps me on the shoulder, you know? And he's like, hey, Nicole, we need you to come with us. And I'm like, you know, when they tell you they need you to come with them, you're like, okay. So I was like, sure, what's up, man? Because I'm none the wiser. I think nobody knows what's going on. And they pull me in the room and they were like, will you go take a drug test? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's go take a drug test. I'm game. And so I get in the car with my manager of the whole Kroger and we're like driving down to the drug testing place, right? Well, we get there and the lady like calls me back. I go back and then I come running out and I was like, fuck this shit. I ain't taking no motherfucking drug test. You know, and I told him, no, y'all ain't gonna fucking pin me for failing drug tests, you know? I was like, nah, man, I ain't taking that shit. And so my boss was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm not taking it. And so we drove back and I called Neil and he came and picked me up. And I was like, dude, I just lost my job. Like, I'm never going to work there again. Like, I had worked there for like 5 years at Kroger, you guys. And a lot of you guys see Kathy. She comes into my live stream. She was my boss. We love she was my boss and she was the one who tried to help me to keep my job. But now that I'm sober, we talk all the time and we are actually really good friends. And her son ended up getting sober too. So it was like an awesome thing. So anyway, I lose the job. It is the Bare Minerals concealer. So I lost that job, you guys. I was so upset too because y'all gotta understand something. Like the only thing I had going for me was that job. Like that was the only way I was able to afford to stay high as much as I was staying high. You know, so now like I 100% have to, like I am relying on Neil, okay? And y'all don't know me very well. I hate relying on a dude. Fuck that shit. I would rather sell my ass than have to rely on some dude to fucking pay my way. But, you know, Neil was different though. Like, he was always so, like, good. He was never greedy with the drugs. He always made sure, like, I had my amount that I needed, which, you know, most guys aren't like that. Most guys are grimy and will take most of the stuff and then give you a little pinch of it, you know? So me and Neil ended up, you know, moving into that apartment. I ended up finding a job working for a place, waiting tables, of course, right? And I'm waiting tables and I'm making good money, you guys. So this is where the crack comes in. I had to tell y'all the story. So one night, me, Tara, Joe, and Neil, we couldn't find no meth. We couldn't find no Xanaxes. So what else is there left to do except for shoot crack? And when I tell y'all, we didn't buy cocaine, we bought crack rocks and we broke them down with Kool-Aid and we shot crack, okay? So me, Tara, Joe, who's like a 50-year-old black man, and my husband, well, he was my boyfriend at the time, Neil, we're all in the Xterra and we drive down to 12th Street. 12th Street here in Little Rock is like a known drug street. It's just like, everybody knows that. There's crack all up and down 12th Street. And so we drive down there, we all get some, we all have some like on our person. Everybody's got drugs in their pocket. And we're driving back and all of a sudden the blue lights go on behind us. And I'm like, nobody fucking move. Everybody play it cool. Like Neil's driving. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? If the black guy was driving, I 100% believe we would have all pulled out of that car and all would have been searched. If I was driving, we all would have gotten searched because I have a felony record. You know, if Tara had been driving, we all would have been searched, but Neil was driving. So the cop comes up to Neil's window, and I don't know if they were friends from high school or if his dad knew his dad or what, but they was just talking up a storm, and Neil has crack rocks in his pocket. Neil gets out of the car, they go to the back of the vehicle, they hit the back of the vehicle to see if the light comes back on. Then they like unscrew it or some shit like that, and then it pops back on. But then my husband just stands out there talking to the police officer for like 40 minutes while we're all sitting inside this car, shaking like leaves. When I tell you guys, in my mind, I was like, you get 20 years on a crack. You get 20 years if you get charged with crack. You get 20 years if you get charged with crack. Like I'm sitting there like, I've already been to prison once. I don't want to go back to prison again. You know, I'm thinking of all the ways that I can get rid of this shit if shit goes down. I'm thinking of like slowly getting it out of my pocket, dumping it down my throat. I am thinking of every way imaginable to hide this crack-a-lackin'. Okay, and then I'm thinking about the fucking fiends that we got in the back seat who would like literally throw their crack rocks on the ground and say, this isn't our car, it's their shit, it's their shit. Have y'all ever been with people like that who will literally throw the drugs on the floor and then blame it on you? I ain't like that. I'll take my charge, you know what I mean? But I know people like that. So Neil finally gets back in the truck and we were like, it was like he got back in the truck and that police officer backed out and pulled off, and it was like, and we turned up the music and we went riding down the street, just boom, 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 bumping the music, get to the apartment as fast as we could, you know, and it was like we had just been let free. You know, we were all celebrating that we had been let free and that we didn't catch no charges. But that was one time that happened. Now another time that I got caught up in a car with people while we all had drugs, or while we had drugs on us, was when I was with this guy named Gerald. Now this dude is a scum of the earth, okay? Me and Gerald, I don't know, this is right before I met Neil because I was living with Mr. Lawrence. And so Gerald had called me and I was like really having a bad time. I didn't have no money and I was in withdrawal and I was crying. And he was like, you know, come with me and I'll get you a couple Roxy's, you know, and you just pay me back. Because I had people that, you know, they knew that I worked. They knew that I would pay them back. I had a lot of people that would work with me, help me out when I was in need. And we would help each other out, you know. So I went to meet him and we went to go get a couple Roxy's from Z. And then we went and shot him up in the parking lot of the Fun Wash, okay? The Fun Wash in North Little Rock off Pike, which is also the hood. Okay, so we finish up and we're like, okay, I'm good now. Let's go hang out. Let's go party or some shit. And so we are driving and I still have a syringe and one Roxy on me. And I think he has like a Roxy and like some Xanax bars in in a pill bottle. And so we drive off, and I'm driving. I still own my car. This was right before I got rid of my car. And this is the reason why I lost my car, the story right here. So we drive out of the Fun Wash parking lot, and we get right down the road. You never ride dirty when you don't have insurance and you ain't got tags. Like, everybody knows this. You do not ride dirty if you ain't got tags. And so my dumbass was so desperate that I got in the car and I didn't have my car tags renewed. They hadn't been renewed. They were out. I had tags on it, but they had just expired that like month or so. And so next thing I know, the police are behind me and they're pulling us over. And I'm like, man, dude, I'm getting pulled over. Like, this is it. We're going to jail. And so I had that syringe and that Roxy right there in the thing where here's your car door right there in the little pocket of the car door. So I grab it and I just slide it up in me. Okay, right up in there, and it's smooth sailing. Nobody knows that I have it up there, right? Well, what does Gerald do? He starts fumbling around, grabs his Xanax bottle and throws it underneath my passenger side door. Underneath the seat. Bastard. That's some bitch shit to me, you know? And so the lady walks up to my window and she's like, I didn't see you moving, but I seen him moving. And she walks over to his side and she says, get out of the car, you know? And he gets out of the car and puts his hands on the car, on the top of the car, and she searches underneath his seat and she finds his pill bottle with his pills in it. And she hems him up and puts him in jail, right? Puts him in her car. She looks at me and she said, she searches me. She makes me shake my bra out and all that. And she's like, okay, you can go. And I'm going to get back in my car. And she's like, oh no, you ain't getting back in your car. I'm taking your car. Your car's going with me. And I was like, damn it, man. So she took my car and impounded it, right? And left me there on the side of the road. So I called Mr. Lawrence and I was like, hey, come and get me, man. My car just got impounded, you know? And so Mr. Lawrence came and got me, and I did the rest of my Roxy's, the Roxy that I had, and I just laid depressed in my bedroom at Mr. Lawrence's house. I was like, dude, my car was the only thing that I had left that was of any value. It was the thing that got me around so I could actually use drugs. I mean, I was fucked, you know what I mean? Well, I thought, you know what? I'm not going out like that. I'm going to get something for that car. I'm not just going to let the impound keep it. I'm selling my car from the impound. Watch me. So I put my car up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. And lo and behold, a lady calls me. And she's like, I heard you had your car up for sale on Facebook Marketplace. And I was like, yeah, and it's a good car too. Just got impounded. I just need you to get it out and pay me the rest. And so she paid me $3,000 for that car. And I ended up walking away with like $2,600 because she paid the fee to get it out of the impound. But honey, once I got that $2,600, I called my girl, Alicia. I said, come and get me, bitch. I got $2,600. And we got to get some Xanaxes and some Roxy's. So she came and got me and we were off to the races. That's when I overdosed in her car. And she said, the next thing you know, she said, I looked over and you had just shot up. And the next thing you know, you were going blue and purple. And see, back whenever I was using, you guys, none of us carried Narcan. It wasn't like it is now where like everybody carries Narcan because, you know, fentanyl. It wasn't like that back then because you could buy pills off the street and they were actually the pills that they said they were, you know. But Alicia was a good person. She made sure that she got me help and didn't just leave me to die on the side of the road. You know, she was like, actually, we were both good people. We just were caught up in the dope game, you know. We were just really sick. And when you're sick like that on Roxy's, you guys, it's like every morning we had to wake up. Every morning I had to wake up to go search to get more pills, you know, unless I had some left over from the night before, which was not likely, you know. And here in Little Rock, you guys, it can get pretty crazy here in Little Rock. It's not just like a place that you want to be running around doing drugs. if you're a woman by yourself, you know? And that was the thing, like I was real crazy and would just like run around by myself. I would get so high over at my drug dealer's house and it would be me and like 16 dudes, okay? 16 dudes. And I'd be the only female in there. And I would be so fucking high, so high, that my fucking drug dealer would be like, we can't even fucking do nothing with this bitch. And they would just go and lock me in his room and leave me in there. Because I was like a dead fish, you know what I mean? Like if they wanted to do something, I would be like fucking a dead body. So I'm sorry, I know that's really crazy, but you know what I mean. So they would always just put me in that bedroom and lock me away so that way nobody would see me. I guess I was kind of embarrassing. But that's what it is. Like you get to a point when you're in your addiction, you guys, where it's like embarrassing and it's no longer like fun. People don't want to be around you. People are annoyed by you. You know, they're like, Nicole's coming around again. She gets so high that she can't even handle it, you know? It's annoying, you know? And that's what would happen. But I would be with all these, like, when I tell you guys, these were dudes that, like, I can't believe how some of the people that I ran around with, like, there was like sawed-off shotguns on the tables and shit. And like, at any time, the police could have kicked it in and raided us, you know? I've also been in situations like that with like meth cooks, white boys too. And they're, you know what, I'll have to say this. White people on meth are crazier than black people on drugs. I swear to God, y'all. I've been with both kinds of people fucked up on drugs. And I would rather be in a group of black men, okay, getting high, than I would be with a bunch of white guys cooking meth. Swear to God. Swear to God. Because those white guys, man, they're crazy, dude. They're the kind of fools that will like tie you to a tree and then go get like a fucking nest of ants and pour honey all over your body and then throw the ants on you. So they are psychos. Psychos. But anyway, me and my husband were just sitting in there and I was looking at my phone and I was like, I told that crack story on my phone and I thought, I need to get on here and tell them the whole story of what happened. Because I forget a lot of these stories until like certain things kind of like break free the memory. And so it'll come to the forefront of my mind. You know what I mean? And so I was sitting there this morning and I was just like chilling out and I saw some video or something about crack and I thought, oh my God, I remember this time, you know? And there was a time where I was so bad off, you guys, and this is the depressing part. When I didn't have nowhere to like live, like I didn't have my own space to live in, and I was like staying at Mr. Lawrence's house and I was staying at different friends' houses. That was like the most depressing time in my addiction because like I didn't know where I was gonna stay from day to day, you know? I don't want to go back to that life ever again. Ever again. Like it's just not even worth it to me. You know, sometimes I get a little triggered by things and I think about using. When it comes to my weight, sometimes I think about using because I'm like, damn, I can lose some weight really fast. You know, but then I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, man. Anyways, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. When I tell these stories to you guys, like, I hope you know that I'm laughing because I can't believe I did that stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was so dumb. So dumb. But I've been in some serious bad situations before. And then I've also been in situations where, like, we all should have been going to jail and we didn't, which I'm so grateful that we didn't, you know? After I was arrested for my meth charge, I started to be a lot more cautious of like what I carried on me in my car. But I still, you know, I still carried and drove because I had to get from point A to point B. I wish I could say I just totally stopped carrying drugs in the car altogether, but nope. I had to get to where I needed to go, you know. Now when I go to like the grocery store or anything like that, I can always tell people in the parking lot that are doing drug deals. I'm always like, yep, they're getting dope. Yep, that's a drug deal. That's a drug deal. You know? So, okay, somebody came in here and said that they found Gabby Petito's remains. Can any of you guys update me on that? That's so fucked up, dude. Like, that dude killed her. He killed her. Like, what a piece of shit, dude. Like, what could get so bad that you kill somebody? Like, you know what I'm saying? Think about it. Where did they find him at? Did any of you guys know? Sorry, I'm not talking about that because I don't know anything really about it. But I mean, like, oh, they found the body, but it's not identified yet. Well, they found, where did they find it at? Did they find it in that national park or whatever? I'm really interested in, I have been following Teton National Park. Okay, I've been following that case because it's on here. You know, I can't help it. So many people are talking about it. Okay, they just confirmed it with her. Well, you know what? That dude gave me Chris Watts vibes. What about y'all? I've seen a lot of people say that too. Like, he gave me definite Chris Watts vibes. I've been in relationships where I was beaten, and yeah, at least she's found and she doesn't have, her body doesn't have to be out there no more. You know what I mean? So I was in an abusive relationship before I met my husband. My husband he's amazing. He would never abuse me. But I was with a guy who, I'm surprised he didn't murder me. Like, that's how bad he would beat me. He would beat me so bad that he busted my head open. I had to go to the ER and get stitches in my forehead. And when he would hit me and he would start beating me, it was like he would black out. You couldn't even see in his eyes anymore. They would just be completely black. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he was possessed or something. So, yeah, that fool went and killed himself, went and jumped off a bridge somewhere. I hope they find him and prosecute his ass, but I really doubt he's alive. I bet you he went and killed himself. Strangling somebody, that's a super intimate way to kill somebody too. You know, like strangling them is like, you have to sit there and look in their eyes while their life goes out of them. Lord, it's depressing. But I was in an abusive relationship for many, many years, many years. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You think he unalived himself too? So do I. So do I. I think that's why he left and he hadn't come back home to his mom and dad's house. You know what? I bet you he told his parents that he was leaving too, and they're just covering for him. Well, you know, maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I just know that like so many people are like turning crazy, y'all. So many people are losing their minds, y'all. It's like the world is really coming to an end. Like, it is no joke, okay? This is serious. Serious. No joke. It makes me scared for my kid to live in this world, you know? It's sad. It's depressing, dude. So, let me talk about that abusive relationship. So, with this guy that I was in an abusive relationship with, I met him in 2001. Yeah, 2001. I had just graduated in 2000, and I had just broke up with my boyfriend that I had been with for like 5 years. His name was Robert. And I was heartbroken, you know. I was heartbroken because I really thought me and Robert were like going to get married and shit. But I cheated on his ass, so I don't know why I thought that was going to happen. But anyway. I met LD, and everybody told me, a lot of people tried to warn me and say, you know, he is abusive. You don't want to date him. He will beat you, you know. And I didn't listen to what people told me. I was like, oh, I'll be different. No, I was not different. The abuse didn't start right away, but there were signs to it. You know what I mean? Like he threw my car into oncoming traffic when he got mad at me. That was a sign. You know, and then little arguments and stuff, you know, where he would say horribly mean, hateful things to me. You know, just things that normal people don't say to you, you know, even if you are having an argument. And I should have listened to the girls that tried to warn me. I really should have listened. It sounds like this girl her and that guy had a volatile relationship too, where they kind of fought a lot and he hit her too, or she hit him, which, you know, a lot of times girls will do that, like, you know, get emotional and get physical, but a lot of us can't cause no real damage to a man, you know. And so her just like slapping him or whatever, sure, she shouldn't have done that, but he obviously had done something to her before if he was able to just strangle her like that. That's crazy, dude. Crazy. A lot of people have been talking about that case though. Hey, Nate, Nathaniel, it's time to you have 15 more minutes. And then we gotta get in the shower and get ready for school for tomorrow. Okay? Okay. It's so sad. I mean, honestly, it's depressing. But anyway, I hope you guys laughed from that story time. I literally just came on here to tell you guys that story and make y'all laugh. I said, oh my God, I have to tell this story. I was cracking up over there with my husband talking about it. I love being able to remember those memories and know that now I'm not like that. I'm not in my active addiction anymore. I don't have to use drugs anymore, you know, and that's the beautiful thing about recovery is that we never have to go back to that life, you know. I don't miss that life. I don't. Yeah, baby. How many? Do what, buddy? Yes, tell your friends y'all can play till 6 o'clock. It's 5:45.
I get to play until 6 o'clock. But now it's 5:45.
Well, after you get done with your, you know, with taking a bath and everything, you can play after that too. Hey, girl. I was over here making everybody laugh talking about crack rocks. Hey, Cece, what's up, girl? I have so many stories, y'all. I can tell y'all for days. Stories for days. But they are a little crazy. I don't want to trigger nobody. There was, you know, me and Neil, when we first got together, and even throughout our relationship, we had tried to get sober so many times. It's like we would get sober, we would stop using, and then we would relapse. We would get sober, and then we would relapse. And, it felt like we were never going to get sober. That's how I felt. I was like, man, we're never going to get sober. We're going to die like this, you know? There was times in, ooh, little bug right there. There was times in our relationship where, like, I really thought he was going to die because he was just so bad. You know, he was just, like, really just doing things to the extreme. Yeah, using doesn't make a situation any better. Y'all gotta learn that too. If you use, you're just compound the situation. You know what I mean? And make it like 10 times worse. So using is never the answer. I mean, listen to me, you guys. I go through trials and tribulations. I'll share some stuff with you guys. I'm fat as fuck. I'm fat as fuck, y'all. I'm depressed about it too. I fucking hate looking at myself in the mirror, and I gotta look at myself every damn day because I gotta do videos. You know, it's depressing. But I also know that I will get through this. I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna lose weight. It'll happen. It'll happen. You know, and that's depressing as fuck. You wanna know what else is depressing? My poor little boy can't hang out with his friends because people don't want to get vaccinated. That's depressing. You know, I want my son to be able to have a school year and actually have fun and do stuff, but he can't because I don't want to send him to people's houses and then him get the corona. That's depressing as fuck. You know, that makes me sad every day. I feel like a failure of a mom because I don't know what to do to have fun with my son. You know what I mean? What do you do? You know, I don't know what to do. So that's sad. That's depressing. Let me think what else is depressing in my life. Let me think. Oh, I know. I'm still living in my mother-in-law's house and renting from her. And this is her fucking junk behind me. I don't own a piano. You know, I want to get my own motherfucking home. I want to move out and own my own shit. That's depressing as fuck. You know, like, I could sit here and focus on all the things that are bad in my life, and it sucks, you know, but I can fix all this, you know. And so instead of focusing on the bad things, I try to focus on the good things, you know, like helping people and being of service and spending time with Nate and Neil when we can all together, you know, and doing those kind of things. But it's hard right now, y'all. It's a hard time right now. There's so much division with people, and it's just depressing, dude. It's depressing. Oh, gosh, it's so depressing. That makes me depressed, you know? Seeing people fighting on the internet all the time and not thinking of others, that's depressing, you know? So be grateful for what you have. That's what you have to do. You have to start being grateful for what you do have. You know? So, anyway. Don't let it get you down. You'll be all right. My hair is getting... Look how dark my hair is, y'all. Yeah, you got to be grateful for what you have. I mean, listen to me, you guys. So I'm fat, okay? At least I can keep my husband warm at night, you know? So, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Is it fine if I take a shower and then play with my friend?
Yeah, Nate.
Do I have to do head back?
Yeah, I'm coming. You have to do head back. Head back means washing his hair.
No.
Nate, we have to wash your hair. Do you know how much hair you have on your head? You have a full head of hair, Elvis Presley.
No.
Okay? So you have to do head back.
I don't know how to. And
I'm going to do it for you.
I don't like when... That's weird, though.
Nathaniel, I'm your mom. I've seen... You came out of me.
I know.
Come on, I'll get it nice and warm for
It's
you.
on my bloody dick.
Shh! Nathaniel!
What is it? Are you on the...
Yes!
Oh.
Okay, guys, I got to get him in the shower. I'll talk to you later. Bye.